Okay, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
It is Monday.
It is a rainy Monday.
Very rainy Monday morning.
It's kind of loud in here too, so
Yeah.
okay.
So you might hear some thunder, you might see some lightning, who knows.
Alexa, turn off the AC.
And
It's off.
we got that too. Anyway, we're there. Today, Judas agrees to betray Jesus. It's a three-part parallel. It's pretty short, so we're just going to read the whole thing. Matthew chapter 26, starting at verse 14. Then Judas Iscariot, one of the 12 disciples, went to the leading priest and asked, "How much will you pay me to betray Jesus to you?" And they gave him 30 pieces of silver. From that time on, Judas began looking for an opportunity to betray Jesus. From there, we go to Mark chapter 14, starting at verse 10. Then Judas Iscariot, one of the 12 disciples, went to the leading priest and arranged to betray Jesus to them. They were delighted when they heard why he had come, and they promised to give him money. So he began looking for an opportunity to betray Jesus. From there, we go to Luke chapter 22, starting at verse 3. Then Satan entered into Jesus Iscariot, who was one of the 12 disciples, and he went to the leading priests and captains of the temple guard to discuss the best way to betray Jesus to them. They were delighted, and they promised to give him money. So he agreed and began looking for an opportunity to betray Jesus so that they could arrest him when the crowds weren't around. Okay, I'm going to read now the commentary from Matthew. Why would Judas want to betray Jesus? Judas, like the other disciples, expected Jesus to start a political rebellion and overthrow Rome. As a treasurer, Judas certainly assumed, as he did the other disciples, see Mark chapter 10, verse 35 through 37, that he would be given an important position in Jesus' new government. But when Jesus praised Mary for pouring out perfume worth a year's salary, Judas may have realized that Jesus' kingdom was not physical or political, but spiritual. Judas's greedy desire for money and status could not be realized if he followed Jesus. So he betrayed Jesus in exchange for money and favor from the religious leaders. Matthew alone records the exact amount of money Judas accepted to betray Jesus. 30 silver coins, the price of a slave, which is in Exodus chapter 21, verse 32. The religious leaders had planned to wait until after the Passover to take Jesus, but with Judas's unexpected offer, they accelerated their plans. There's no commentary from Mark, but we're going to read the commentary for Luke. Satan's part in betrayal of Jesus does not remove any of the responsibility from Judas. Disillusioned because Jesus was talking about dying rather than about setting up his kingdom, Judas may have been trying to force Jesus' hand and make him use his power to prove he was the Messiah. Or perhaps Judas, not understanding Jesus' mission, no longer believed that Jesus was God's chosen one. Whatever Jesus thought, Satan assumed that Jesus' death would end his mission and thwart God's plan. Like Judas, he did not know that Jesus' death and resurrection were the most important parts of God's planning all along.
Judas was the treasurer of the group, wasn't he?
He was.
Yeah.
And greed does affect
It does.
people very, very harshly. I mean, it
does.
makes people do weird things.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's interesting that Satan himself entered Judas.
Yeah, I didn't never
And I think
that before.
And I think that, well, we know possessions are absolutely.
They're very true.
So whether it's a demon like the naked man in the cemetery, the demon spoke and said his name was Legion.
Right.
So I don't see why Satan himself can't do it either.
I just never thought about it.
He is the chief of all the fallen angels and demons.
Yeah.
So I don't see why he couldn't. Which I think when it comes to the end times, that will be whoever the person is that is the Antichrist will have that happen to them. And thankfully, I mean, it's said many times that when we are saved, we are given the Holy Spirit. There's no way if we are truly saved and have the Holy Spirit dwelling inside of us, there is no way he's going to get out of the way to let Satan in. That's just not going to happen.
Well, and God, the Trinity, Jesus, God, the Holy Spirit, they can't be around sin.
No.
And Satan is nothing but sin. So
Yeah.
they're not going to indwell in the same,
No.
you know.
It's just, you know, it just shows if somebody claims to be a Christian and be possessed at the same time. I struggle with that. I truly do, because I truly believe that once the Holy Spirit is with us as a person that is truly saved, that just can't happen.
That does not mean that a Christian cannot sin.
You can be tempted, to be sure. Exteriorly, we're talking about biblical possession.
Possession.
Yes.
Now, we still sin.
Yes.
All the time.
Yes.
But you're talking strictly possession.
Yes. I'm talking about worrying about Satan directly controlling your thoughts or anything like that, like it says right here about Judas. Because it also says that Satan entered him. We'll find that later when they go to the Last Supper, and Jesus stared right at him and said, you know, do what you got to do, because it says in first, Satan then entered Judas, and he went and did his thing.
Yeah.
So I just and I think that's tough for people that are not saved and get around demonic influences. That this kind of thing does truly happen still on this day.
Yeah, it does.
So
there will be a picture at the end of the video.
Describes Judas.
And you can pause on the video and read it.
Yep. All right. Hope everybody has a glorious day. We'll talk to you later.